Is Chris Pratt in a chair exciting for 90 minutes? Let's rant about it. All right, welcome back to the channel. We have another movie review today. We are looking at Mercy from 2026. So this film stars Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson, and it's focused on Chris Pratt's character, who's a cop who is on trial for the murder of his wife. So he sort of is found himself in the situation where he's on trial through a program called Mercy, which is an AI-based program that really uses an AI algorithm as represented by Rebecca Ferguson's character to really say, we're only looking at the facts of the case and you need to prove you're innocent. You're guilty until proven innocent. And you have an hour and a half literal ticking clock to prove that you are not guilty of the crime at hand. And you're basically given all the resources that this AI program has to help prove that you're innocent. So that's really what the story is about. And then you're on this 90-minute plus story of Chris Pratt in a chair trying to frantically figure out and solve his own case to prove that he didn't murder his wife. So on paper, this sounds fucking terrible. You watch the trailer, does not look great. It sounds like incredibly, potentially kind of, not really overdone, but just like really super lame. And like, how is that interesting at all? And from my perspective, it was fine. I actually kind of liked it. I went in with very, very bottom of the barrel expectations for this one. Like, we've been making fun of it as Chris Pratt in a chair movie. How exciting can this be? You know what you're going to get with him, and like all the controversy around AI and things like that. So there has been some kind of pushback on this movie and controversy. Like, is it kind of promoting AI? Is it, saying AI is a good thing, etc.? So, there's like the controversy around it, but plus the kind of dumb plot. And then it's released in January, which is the dead time of movies. So it had a lot going against it. And from my perspective, like, I actually kind of got into it. Again, nothing revolutionary here. It's a very like sort of procedural kind of thriller, kind of sort of whodunit kind of plot. And, it's really kind of going through a very quick trial and trying to figure out, let's look at all the evidence and, figure out what's, did he do it or not and whatnot. And I would say, the movie definitely, picks up steam. It gets a lot of like tension and the thriller aspect comes in. And I found myself like towards the end kind of like getting into it. Like, obviously I know like, I kind of got a sense for what the end was going to be, but I was still kind of like pseudo like leaning forward and like kind of tense in my seat. So to me, ultimately, that made the movie effective. Like, I wasn't just sitting there criticizing the film in my head. I was just more like viscerally watching it and kind of getting wrapped up into the mystery of things and then the tension of things. And then once the action kicked in, the action part of it. It was definitely pretty interesting from my perspective. Chris Pratt does a fine enough job. He's Chris Pratt, but he also with a little bit of edge to him. So I thought he did a fine job. I'm definitely not a Chris Pratt hater. I do enjoy the work that he does and I enjoy him. So like, I have nothing against him. Rebecca Ferguson does well. I mean, she's playing an AI character, so there isn't very much variability with the emotion. It's very much kind of it's supposed to be a computerized program. So she's not really asked to do a lot, but what she does, I thought was effective. And the rest of the cast, I couldn't really name the actors' names. There's a few character actors I kind of recognize, but they did a well enough serviceable job to make this movie effective. Again, you're stuck in this room, Chris Pratt's in a chair, and you get a lot of video screens to really show the evidence. And then you eventually do go out in the world and see what's going on and kind of it interplay with what was going on. One thing that I will note that I did watch this movie in 3D. Not IMAX 3D. I had the option for that, but I watched it in real 3D, and I truly think that slightly enhanced the film for me. Because yes, you're stuck in this room. He's in a chair looking at these video screens, but in the 3D, it feels more immersive, like you're in there with all the video screens kind of popping in and out, and you're kind of surrounded by them a little bit more. This is a time where I think it took what would have been a relatively kind of boring shot or boring scenario and made it a little bit more interesting and engaging by it being in 3D. My cat's playing with the toy right now. What are you going to do? So yeah, I definitely thought that made it more interesting for me. So if you have the option, I would recommend checking it out in 3D if you're going to check it out at all. I know the movie's been out for, I think, 2 weeks now. So yeah, ultimately, I did have a good time with this. I thought the plot was well enough. Again, nothing too extraordinary or that unique or interesting, but it did have a little bit of twisting up of the formula of just a regular cop procedural, dealing with this AI. It did give me vibes of Minority Report, which I fucking love. I really love Minority Report. That's a great movie. So it's kind of, you get this kind of system that's sort of like helping solve crimes and things like that, and society's sort of leaning on this to really help get rid of a crime epidemic that's going on in the city and in the world and things like that. So ultimately, I think Minority Report is a much better movie. Obviously, you have, Steven Spielberg behind it, who's a master filmmaker. And I tried to look up the director's name for this, and I knew there's no way I was going to be able to pronounce their last name. So not even going to try it here. You can look it up, Google it, whatever. But yeah, so I would say this movie's a 3 out of 5 for me, which definitely puts it in the positive end of things. Which is very surprising to me. I was expecting this to be a very low, maybe 2.5, 2 stars, but I found myself really enjoying it and had a good time with it. It's not going to be anywhere near the top half or the top 10 films for me of the year, but it was still a good, fun time that I'm really glad I took the time to sit down and watch it. So yeah. All right. Well, this is the time where I tell you to like, comment, and subscribe. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Are you going to go see it? Did you go see it? What did you think? Any thoughts whatsoever? Just please engage if you can. If you don't, no big deal. That's all good. All right. Well, that's another film review in the bank. So I really appreciate it. And if I don't see you again, bye forever.